Okay, welcome to this experiment on this really dynamic dark blue holographic foil. Alright, so my idea of this video and live stream was to create a couple mirror cards using this foil that I've experimented once before with, and I just imagined this incredible looking sky type of patterning within a body of water being reflected back. So that's what this is going to represent. Here's this little figure overlooking this. It could be a large lake or something like that. I see it as the ocean and kind of like a little, I don't know, maybe inlet, harbor area, whatever. Just a chain of islands, and we're using stamps from the island set here. And then I looked at it, and I thought, maybe we need some more kind of vertical kind of movement within the designs. I thought it looked pretty good like this, but I thought, let's bring these islands a little bit closer to us as a viewer by planting some trees on top of them. So I'm going into it with the Tree Duo and Tree Duo Large. This is the just the kind of the top, maybe two-thirds of these trees, and it gives us that little kind of pointy edge, and I thought that pointy kind of patterning on tops of these islands with these tree forms, I felt that they were reiterating kind of the sharper edges that you also see happening within that holographic light structuring. That will be in the sky, but it'll also be reflected in this silver mirrored card in the lower half of the card format there. So you see these little lights like that. You can see some of the negative spaces. You can see those trees in there, or those shardy areas. Okay, following up with some pine tree formations to flank our Lady Rider in the foreground here, and that brings that same form to something near, so you have it both near and far like that, and I thought that looked pretty good. We're going to add in some stabilizing forms up here in the sky in the form of some stars with the Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Okay, and now you have something up in the sky that's not moving around so much. And then to bring a variety of scale into that area, I'm adding some little white stars. Sometimes these stand out a little bit more than what I think they're doing, because I'm looking at this foil with a very reflective surface, so I might be looking at it with a lot of glare coming off. But then when I hold it up, it's like, oh my god, I added way too many stars. So what I'm going to do, you can scrape them off if you want to, but what I'm going to do is I have these different color acrylic white paint pens, not just the white, and I'm going over and I'm just dampening out some of these dots with kind of maybe a 30% blue or something like that, just so that the sky isn't quite so busy, but you'll still have the forms of the stars, but some of them will be muted in a darker value. Okay, take a look at this right here. I just turned on my incandescent light, and you can see all kinds of other colors revealed within this surface. So my normal lights are fluorescent only, and they are only revealing a certain spectrum on the card. Okay, so going on to the second card right here, I stamped out my lakeside cabin in Stays on Black, but it almost kind of removed some ink. Maybe I didn't stamp it fast enough. Okay, make the impression lift off before the ink starts to dry and set up. I think that was my problem here. So it gave me almost a reverse impression where you're removing some of the material off of this card. So I wanted to show people what you do in some case like that. So what I'm doing is I'm improvising, I'm going in, and I'm doing something that I've done a lot before, and I'm blocking out on a darker surface. So it doesn't have to be the dark holographic vinyl or this dark holographic blue vinyl, but I'm blocking out kind of a darker background like that. And that's going to represent some clouds or mist on the lake, something of that sort. And it also pairs pretty well with the imagery. You know, it's not just this hard, you know, slathering of white ink. You want to kind of taper it off a little bit so it kind of fades out as it goes up into the sky. Now, I'm going in with the Brilliance ink instead this time, because if I try to stamp on top of white, dried Brilliance ink with a stays on it, it's just going to remove that ink, because that Brilliance ink isn't affixed to the surface, and it won't be until I spray seal it. Okay, so that's what that looks like. So we have a lot more visibility, and as it turns out, I think that white looked really good in this type of situation here. Okay, so being that I added that white behind the lakeside cabin, there's the ledge stamp, which is also in nature set number 6 or sold separately. But what I'm doing is I'm bringing that white element down into the foreground now, so that when I stamp my ledge down there, it will stand out against the background in a similar value, I should say, to that cloud behind the lakeside cabin. So there's that ledge right there, and we'll continue it out to the left and right side. Just overlap, no need to mask or anything like that. And then you have that ledge right there. And in landscape stamping, when you have some kind of foreground like that, it gives us as a viewer looking into that scene something to stand on. It gives us some stability. And it also gives us scale and depth within the scene. So it's one of those little tricks that landscape photographers do. If they're taking a picture of something in the background, or of some distance, what they do is they compose the scene with something in the foreground. Could be some plants, or some grass, or some flowers, or, you know, an overhanging tree limb or something like that. But you have this flanked ledge right down there, adding a little bit more tone to the ledge too, just so it isn't quite so white. Evening it out a little bit, and there you have it, the main composition right there. Now what I'm doing is I'm bringing in some value variety in the form of contrast. I'm going in with this little bit of a warm tone, kind of a beige ink, and look how that light really stands out for that cabin as interior illumination. This one right here, I'm splatter painting a little bit less stars, because I've learned my lesson and I've been over splattering everything. So I thought that was a good amount right there, and I got a pretty decent variety. And then I like that blue dot patterning in that previous scene, so I did it in here too. The darker dots look like they're a little bit more distant. Maybe they're an older star, where the young, you know, the bright ones are young stars or something like that. And look at that patterning in there. Here's it is with the incandescent light on, revealing those other kind of, I don't know, different colored beams like that. And there's these two scenes right here. I didn't affix the scenes on yet, because these need to dry and I need to spray seal them. But I really like the look of this blue holographic cardstock paired with the silver foil cardstock in the form, or in the format of these mirror cards, what I call them. Okay, some people call them an inside-out card, but they look really dimensional. And I just thought that blue, I don't know, patterning to this particular holographic, I don't know, it's one of my favorites. I love blues and that color of blue like that anyways, and I felt that these pieces right here look really, really deep in terms of the visual, I guess, illusion of depth, because after all, they are two-dimensional cards. So anyways, that's the new pieces. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching.